Hello, everybody. Our lesson today is about relative clauses. What do we mean with clauses or a clause? In the singular, we say a clause. We have already talked about that. A clause is a part of a sentence, and the relative clause contains a relative pronoun plus a subject and a verb, or a verb and an object. The relative clause is used to explain which person, thing, or place we're talking about. The relative pronouns we're going to use in this lesson are the following: who, that. We use them when we are talking about people. That and which are used to talk about things and animals, and where for places, of course. Look at the examples here. The first one: this is the man who helped me. Who helped me is a relative clause in this sentence. You see, the relative clause has got or contains a relative pronoun, a verb, an object pronoun, or an object. Who helped me. The second example: here is the book which I borrowed from the library. Which I borrowed from the library. This is called a relative clause. The third example: this is the house where I grew up. This is the house where I grew up. Where refers to the house, and where I grew up is the relative clause of this sentence. Who, in the first example, refers to the man. Which, in the second example, refers to the book. And where refers to the house. Keep in mind that we can sometimes drop the relative pronoun in spoken English. I said sometimes, not always. Only when the information in the relative clause is about the object of the clause, not the subject. We're going to see this in these examples. Look at this now. The book which or that I borrowed from the library. You see, we can use here which or that, referring to the book. The book which I borrowed from the library, or the book that I borrowed from the library. We can drop the relative pronoun and say the book I borrowed from the library. See here, I have dropped the relative pronoun here. I can say the book I borrowed from the library. And the sentence is correct, and it has got the same meaning as the first one. The second example: the man who I helped is here. Or the man that I helped is here. I can say the man I helped is here. The man I helped is here, without a relative pronoun, and it has got the same meaning here. But be careful, in this sentence, the man who helped me is here. In this sentence, we cannot drop the relative pronoun. Why? Because the relative pronoun here is functioning as a subject in the clause. The man who helped me. Who here is functioning as a subject of the clause, so I cannot drop it. Okay? And here where we can never drop it. We cannot drop the relative pronoun where. Look at this. The house where I grew up. I cannot say the house I grew up. It's wrong. It's incorrect. This sentence is incorrect. I cannot drop the relative pronoun where. The house where I grew up. This sentence here is incorrect. Good. Now we're going to see how to combine sentences using relative pronouns. Relative pronouns. We can combine pairs of sentences into one sentence. A pair of sentences into one sentence using a relative pronoun. For example, I borrowed the book from the library. It's very interesting. Here I've got two sentences. I can combine these two sentences into one sentence using a relative pronoun. I can say, the book that I borrowed from the library is very interesting. Or, the book which I borrowed from the library is very interesting. Another example, he lives in a village. The village isn't far from the sea. You can say, the village where he lives isn't far from the sea. Where he lives. Where refers to the village, a place. The village where he lives isn't far from the sea. Well, to do this, to practice what we've said so far, to consolidate the lesson, you do the exercises on page 82 of the student's book, exercises 2, 3, and 4 of the student book. And then you check the answers below on the next page. But as usual, please do the exercises and then check the answers. Here are the answers, or the correction of the exercises. Exercise 2, the relative pronouns here are in order. Exercise 3 as well, the relative pronouns in order here. And exercise 4, I have written the sentences for you. We combined two sentences into one sentence. Yeah, for example, Stranger Things is a brilliant series that I started watching last week. In this exercise, you had to combine sentences, pairs of sentences, into single sentences using the relative pronouns. This is the end of our last lesson. I hope you've enjoyed it. Thank you. See you.